Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. That intro was super dope. I loved it. We are here to do a new show that we're starting. I think we're starting today. Today is going to be episode one of Three Dudes Ranting. Um, it's a format of a show that I kind of just came up with the idea of it, and I'm like, you know what? Let's try it. We're going to be doing a good, bad, and the ugly section. To do the show with me today, I have Dr. KB and Anthony. What's up,
Man,
fellas?
I thought Wonder Woman took the cap off her toothpaste.
No, I feel like it's also fitting to do it that way, to have that be the intro for this episode, because man, are we going to talk about the fact that DC can't handle their shit. But before we get into DC not being able to handle their shit, we're gonna do the good. So it's always good to start off a show. You know how you get the would you want the good news or the bad news? I feel like it's always good to start off with the good news. It's always good to start off with the good, the good stuff, the fun stuff, the stuff that people like and people are always going to remember you for. So first things first, I feel like, to do justice, because we still haven't done a review for this show, Amazon's amazing show that what do I want to say? They did the season finale last week. Invincible, fellas. We're gonna talk Invincible. So first things first.
You never say the name; it just appears on the screen.
The show is still kind of janky. It's still the first episode, so we're not sure of how this works yet. I should just show that. Let me shut up. Amazon's incredible show, Invincible. There we go. You like it now? I still said the name. That's right. I should be like Amazon's incredible show in name.
No,
right.
No, just.
I'm not getting it right, but no. Let's talk about this show real quick. Has anyone read the comic?
Years ago.
Okay, so 2 out of 3 years ago. Yes, I read it and I fell in love with it. And then a couple years ago in one of our chats, somebody put that Invincible was getting a show or some sort of a make, to media, right, outside of the comics. And at first I thought it was live action, and I'm so glad it's not live action. They went animated, and I think the show 100% works better animated. Right?
And, because they pretty much just took everything off the page of the comic book, the style,
right,
the graphic situations, getting people that never heard of it and don't just consume everything like we do. Had to be like, look, just wait to the end of the first episode. If you don't want to watch the rest of it after the first episode, I'll get it, but that's what's gonna hook you. And same thing is like, man, this is corny. This is like a ripoff, and then it's like, oh fuck,
right.
Whole different type of show, right? And we're coming off this age of, it's kind of weird. We're going through this, comics had the golden age, and then they, transitioned in the 70s and the 80s, and they got the gritty 90s, everybody having blood and everything like that. It's kind of like we're seeing those comic book ages in like a faster, like hyperbolic chamber of eras of what materials we're consuming, right? We had the golden clean cut superheroes, then now we're getting to the gritty 90s of like the boys and everything like that. Like I don't know, something I was thinking about earlier that
that actually absolutely makes sense, because we got, let's just say, if we look at Superman the movie, right, that would be our golden age, silver age, like
Tim Burton's Batman,
right? Tim Burton Batman. Even if we go all the way to
X-Men.
Yeah, no, Batman, the TV show, that's still like our silver age, so we move from that, and then we get into like, now we're moving into the Renaissance, the period where everything is just lively, colorful, bubbly, and then we move from that into like the early 2000s of comics, where we get the Image, where the Image splits off, and then they do like, I think we're getting stuff that's outside, for me, stuff that's outside of Marvel and DC always it always feels a little better in its own world, right? I'm not going to say it's better than Marvel or DC, but I'm saying in their own respective universes, I can enjoy them as they are without saying, oh, this feels like Marvel, this feels like DC.
Well, the cool thing about these, when you get to the offshoots like Crimson or Rising Stars, things like that, is that you can have main characters get killed, maimed.
Yes.
You know, like Spider-Man's going to be Spider-Man. Like even if they did something to him in a couple of years, he'll just be back to being Spider-Man. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where if you go to the offshoots or like Image did or like Spawn or anything like that, or especially Hellboy, like there's so much material there, and you don't know the story. Like we know pretty much all the most famous Spider-Man stories, we know the most famous X-Men stories, but unless you followed Invincible, which is good, but it's never been on that popularity scale. And now we're getting things like that, or we're getting things like the Umbrella Academy. The Umbrella Academy is such an obscure, like.
It's like a cult following. Like it's like either you were a fan of it or you weren't. You know.
I mean, even if you didn't like it, Sci-Fi did Deadly Class, which I was reading, and I thought that was pretty awesome. It was good.
That one is it good?
The show was pretty good. Like it flowed with the comic, and it was some. And this is again live action that looks like or feels like the comic book, but so now let's talk about Invincible itself. The show, I thought the show was phenomenal. The voice acting, which when I look at Omni-Man, right? When I read Omni-Man, I have a voice in my head of what I feel like Omni-Man would sound like and Omni-Man would feel like, right? To be very honest, he pulled it off. Dude that plays J. Jonah Jameson, he pulls it smooth off. I thought in my mind, I'm like, this is Omni-Man. This is like who I feel Omni-Man is going to be like.
Yeah, J.K. Simmons, like he does great work. I mean, I remember as a kid being afraid of him and going to jail with him at Adebisi to him doing that Adebisi rape scene. That's rough. But him transitioning to like children's shows and Avatar, which he did great as Tenzin.
Yeah, he was amazing in that.
And what was the jazz one? Whiplash, yeah.
That was scary.
Scary
in Whiplash.
Awesome, and it seems like his interest of what he wants to do is like varied. But he brings that's the voice of Omni-Man.
Right.
And he does such a great job of he brings a high level of acting. Like everybody else is great, but he I don't know what it is. He just brings that next level to every scene he's in.
Yeah, I feel
he's
like
believable.
If there is a standout from the show or from the acting side of things, I think he's the standout for me. He crushes Omni-Man, like he really killed it. And what again, as Anthony had pointed out in the beginning of his spiel about Invincible, he said the graphics, how graphic the comic is, was I didn't think. I'm like, okay, first of all, they're probably gonna go as far. They're not gonna go all the way, but they took the line and pushed the line, erased the line, drew a new line, erased that line, pushed that line, drew a new. I mean, they went all the way out.
If they stay faithful to the comic, like they have been with the level they've hit, because they've rearranged some of the timelines of the comic.
Yes, they have. They definitely have. So that's the one thing. But that's not a knock, though. It flows well.
It's not like we have an issue with Jupiter's Legacy, where I think they messed up how the timeline was presented.
Yeah, we're gonna really play with that later.
Yeah.
But think about it though. I feel like it's something where it creates its own flow, right? For the show, it creates its own universe, its own nucleus. Because again, I read the comic, and when you get to the end of episode 1, I don't remember. I texted a friend of mine who read the comic. I was like, yo, they went there this early. And I'm like, so my thing was, how do you come back from that? How do you, because again, if you go there that early, that point in the comic book, that's close to the end of the first volume, I believe. Yeah. The two major things that happen in that book, Mark's fight with his dad and Omni-Man killing the Guardians happened close to the end. I didn't think they were going to go there that early, but then they did it, and then they changed the story to fit to why they did it the way they did, and it worked. So I'm not mad. They took liberties with the story. I'm not mad they did that, and I think it works perfectly. I think for this, in our good section, I think this is the best. In my mind, this year, 2021, I think this is the best comic book adaptation we've seen.
Yeah.
It's better than WandaVision. It's better than Falcon, Captain America, and the Winter Soldier. It's better than better than Jupiter's Legacy. And they still haven't, for people who like, they still haven't reached the bar of what you're gonna see.
Oh no, it gets crazier. And
yeah, I'm buying this Compodium like this week. So
you should. Because if you think what happened at the end of the show, season 1 is the craziest thing you're gonna see.
Oh no, it's Robert Kirkman. I already know. Like, yeah, I'm very well
that
aware.
Lion was that Lion guy comes back.
Battle Beast.
He comes back.
Yeah, man.
He comes back.
Oh, it's Robert Kirkman. There's never a hanging thread.
Oh, and
that's a good point. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
You got Robert Kirkman. Nobody's safe, right?
Yeah, and there's never a hanging thread ever.
Right. And so this isn't the Walking Dead TV show. This is like the Walking Dead comic, and you can do more in this animated series where you don't have to, like, if an actor gets a new job, you ain't got to worry about switching up plot lines and all of this stuff.
Just switch a voice actor. You might lose quality, but
I mean, you have Steven Yeun and you have J.K. Simmons. So I mean, you're good. As long as they're signed up for a few seasons, you're good.
Except for Carl Winslow. You got to keep Carl Winslow.
You definitely do.
Like, he shows up as
the
principal. It was amazing.
But the animation is spot on when it needs to be. What y'all think? Y'all hear about this controversy about how they changed his girlfriend from a white kind of?
She was white.
So I wanted to ask about that.
She was Filipino on the show, which I didn't. Again, it to me.
Filipino?
She's black.
Yeah,
I thought she was just black. I mean, I thought she was excellent black.
I think because the reason I think she was Filipino, because she made the thing about the rice separator or the bucket thing when they went to the festival.
So she's cultured.
And he was trying to buy her the gift on the show. Remember that when they went to the festival?
Cultured. So what you trying to say? Because I'm black, I don't have culture.
All they do is eat rice all day.
I mean, that's what she said on the show. So
but
don't come for me.
I just thought she was well aware of culture. Like,
I thought she was black.
She looks black.
I thought she. Well, again, I think she's played by Zazie Beetz, so she could be black, or she could be mixed. Again,
a lot of people are offended because she has this kind of angry black girl stereotype thing going on. I didn't really get angry, right?
I didn't get angry.
I got more intelligent. She was very intelligent throughout the whole show. I thought they wrote her perfectly.
Yeah, I thought she was
more
perfect.
Like Mary Jane in the new Spider-Man is like, yeah, I know you're Spider-Man. Yeah, I know you're a superhero. That's not the point. The point is you're lying to me.
Right.
And I think that what people are seeing as, so first, I think people are really protesting the lens of which some people are seeing the character. Because if you label the character another black angry woman, and then you you're offended by that, you're missing the point of the character. The character was intelligent, observant. She had agency. Which we don't see a lot.
That's Anthony's favorite word.
Do I say it a lot?
You say it a lot.
I'm really, 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 really big advocate of people having their agency and value in it. But you don't see that a lot. And you can disagree. And it could be, how many times have we been in a relationship and you're like, you're mad about what? Like, well, you didn't spend time. I'm out making men money so we can pay our bills. Like, so it doesn't. And it doesn't mean anybody's crazy or wrong. It just means like there's different perspectives looking at how this relationship or this, interaction works. I mean, she is wrong in my opinion, but
I don't think so. So I guess we could debate that, but I don't think she's wrong. I think she has a point where again, it's something where if you're gonna be a superhero and Mark is new to this, so I believe she could give him a little bit of leeway to, like, oh, well, I mean, I guess because you're kind of new to this, but your dad is Omni-Man and the first woman he met, he trusted. So technically, why couldn't you trust me is how she's coming off with that.
I don't disagree with her logic, though.
I don't. I think she has a point to that.
Like, dude, you're lying to me. You keep lying to me. You don't trust me enough to tell me.
Dragged the lie And the thing about
it's
the
just
lie
called secret identity. I just started dating you.
but you see, the thing about his lie is,
who do you think I am, Batman? Hey,
but also you have to remember these are 17-year-olds,
right?
Yeah,
They're in high school, so
and we're all dumb at 17. So
yeah, it could be. I think it could be a little petty, but she does have a point. I feel like it's a little petty. Again, as you say, I'm saving the world.
She has a right to be petty, and don't mean you're right. So, I mean, that's our perspective, but it's a drama. So what I really think people are offended by is why I think they're afraid she's getting labeled as an angry black girl. I didn't see her as an angry black girl.
I didn't see that either.
She has way too much autonomy to be an angry black girl. Like just way too much.
Right.
And then like they're actually giving her a storyline of validity. You know what I mean? It's not like she's just there conveniently.
Right.
And if she was waiting for, and so from her perspective, all right, I know he's invincible. I know she's a superhero. Did she know about her friend being a superhero?
That was not her friend, though. Eve was not her friend.
Yeah, Eve's not her friend.
Eve's not her friend. Eve is just. So apparently, Eve came to her to like kind of beg for Mark. Kind of, you know, it's kind of like, talk to her for me real quick. Yeah.
Okay.
That was Eve's purpose in their relationship, and she kind of stuck her neck out for Mark. But then Mark.
I mean, let's be listening to people though. Like everybody don't owe you every aspect of their lives because you.
This is true.
Them.
This is true.
Like people are allowed to. I tried to tell somebody that hey, people are allowed to have like. I'll never ask certain questions, right? I'll never ask certain questions, and definitely if you and I can handle answers, but some people can't handle answers. So don't be asking them questions. Like you know what I'm talking about.
That's fair.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And either way, you're allowed to have your secrets, your past, your things that's for you. And if you choose to share that, if you choose to let me into that other space. And I mean, but she treated it like he was cheating on her, which is probably not the best relationship for him anyway. Yeah. And honestly, I don't remember another personality was different. I don't remember the girlfriend from the comic. So,
you don't remember her. Yeah, so this was an upgrade. They gave this person a story. I think they just broke up in the comics, but like in this one, you know, there was a lot more to her. Yeah, I 100% appreciate her story. I 100%. I do, however, like that they didn't immediately jump to the Mark and Eve thing. Yeah. Here,
even though they
kind of hinted it, but they didn't like it, you know, because at the end of the season, she kind of comes back to him. You know, like it looks like she comes back to him, and this time she knows. It's like Go Get Him, Tiger at the end of Spider-Man 2, yeah, where Mary Jane is like Go Get Him, Tiger. You know, where she's, you know, there's trouble going on, and they're sitting in the at the burger spot at the very end of the episode, and you hear something rumble, and you just know Invincible gotta go, and she's okay with it this time. So I kind of like that. I want to see how if they develop that more before they get to Eve and Mark, or if. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that I even like that. Even the supporting characters that and a lot of them are inspired by other comics and other characters, but even they're strong in the show, you know, and they have their own like character development and plots and stuff like that.
Are you talking about Luke Cage?
Luke Cage. Like that was a very interesting mini story.
I'm Luke Cage. Sorry,
Rex. What is his name? Rexplosion.
Yeah, Rexplosion.
Right. He's an asshole, but he's the asshole friend everybody's had at some point and been like, he's an asshole.
Yes.
But, no, he's not a friend. And he's kind of, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like some of us have been that asshole friend.
They got to Rudy. They did get to Rudy and Robot to Rudy really early too.
But it was needed, and you were invested in that, and in the things, and even the robot stuff. Like, I can't imagine. Like, see, we're comic book readers, right? And we're sci-fi aficionados. So, like, there's, you know what it is? It's like when people went to go see the Doctor Strange movie, normies never even thought of the astral plane. The astral plane was something that wasn't even on their radar. to us, we've known it. We've heard that word. We've been there in different forms and everything like that. So we look at the screen and we're like, oh, that's cool. We got to see it. That's
cool.
Nice.
Right.
It blows other people's mind, the concept, and Doctor Strange gets a pass on being a pretty.
So Inception, does that really blow your mind? I'm playing.
So when it comes to this, normies haven't seen stuff like this. Normies haven't seen like these.
They're still talking about that finale.
Yeah,
They're still talking about that finale.
Picard. I get that. Oh wait, what? It doesn't transfer the mind. It just copies. What happens to the? Oh, that's kind of dark, you know. And I don't know. It's
for me. It was funny because I just was like, oh, this is just a Monday. You know what I mean? Like I didn't take it as too much. Like I didn't even read the comic yet. But looking at people in Reddit forums, it's like, oh my god, this is crazy, Grumber. Like, how? Like you've never read a comic book? You never read a comic before.
Never read a comic before.
Yeah. Moving on to the bad section, which I don't think is bad. The guys think the fellas think is bad, but here we go. We are going to talk about Netflix's own foray into the superhero. Netflix's foray back into the superhero medium because they haven't done anything superheroes related since
Umbrella Academy.
Mark Millar's Jupiter's I almost said Jupiter's Ascending. Jupiter's Legacy, starring Josh Duhamel and co. Now, I like the so I'll start this by saying I have not read the comic. I don't know anything about the characters outside of what I saw on the TV screen.
You want to borrow them? I got them.
Are you gonna mail it to me?
I had them on the show earlier.
Shoot, I'll text you my address as soon as we get off. And
I gotta send you my address.
$2 a day rental fee.
Wow, but no. So the bad, I think what I've seen, right, that people have complained more about this show is the fact that I think it's Kyle's complaint. I don't know if it's your complaint as well. The source material is being wasted on episodes, and it feels like they're just running through source material as opposed to trying to stretch the story out. Is that what I'm getting? Did I get that right? Let me let you guys do this because this is not my thing.
So here's my beat. There's two different books that's going on, right?
Right.
When by two different books, I don't mean like two different volumes. Two completely different books with two completely different storylines, and they're merging the both of them into one show. When they had 5 years, to put together two different shows, or if you wanted to, you did. I think BoJack Horseman did this before. Season A, Season B, right? And Season A could have been Jupiter's Legacy. Season B could have been Jupiter's Circle. They decided to mesh this together into one show, completely cutting out tons of storyline from Jupiter's Circle and then doing a prequel to Jupiter's Legacy. And I'm just like, dude, why? Why did you choose this route? Again, the show's not bad, but the liberties that they chose was like, why? You had 5 years, and this is the best answer that you had.
So go ahead. No, go ahead.
So the comic, the way the story is written, and again, the comic leaves a lot to mystery, right? But there's also some very key moments that are subtle, that are important to the overall story. The comic follows a very generational pattern. It starts in the 1920s, and you follow these heroes and then their kids, and then gets the grandkids, and it's a very generational story. So when you jump back and forth, you're missing a lot of things that are important to build up, and it's kind of like you missed the point, right? That these are imperfect characters, these are imperfect heroes, but you just pretty much, I feel like they didn't trust the audience to just let you start in the 20s and work your way up to. I feel like they couldn't wait to get to the 2013 kids, and because that's where their interests were. That's where their interests lied. Where if you build up the story, there's a lot. The reveal at the end of the series was done in a better way in the comic.
Exactly.
And when it hits you in the comic, I remember when I was going through it and something was confirmed in the comic, you're like, oh fuck. Because there's a while where you're like, oh, is this other character's ego getting the best of them? And is this or what? And then when the reveal comes, it's like an oh fuck moment, right?
Yeah.
And And there's also things that are linked to civil rights movement, right? That build into it. Now, and what I kind of am scared of, the character they turned black was the Flair, who had a whole different storyline in the comics.
And he's white.
And he was white.
Yeah.
And but the thing with his family and all that stuff, and yeah. I don't think they're going to give that to this character. If they do, though, it'll be a watered down version of it. And I wonder if they're going to link him to the civil rights movement,
which would take away from somebody else who they hinted at way too hard right now. And you're already painting him out to be a villain, and they even said he's the world's first super villain.
They missed the point in a lot of stuff. So all right, so we're trying not to spoil things.
But making Flair black was a huge mistake early on. I could tell you that, because it's going to make that whole thing later real dumb when you be like, well, why didn't Flair side?
It lessens it.
Yeah.
So these characters are written as white, mostly male characters from the 1920s who mean well,
yeah.
right?
Mm.
But there's certain concepts they don't get. And it's almost like white America that has you see the clip of like Oprah back in like the 80s where this white student gets up and says, I didn't agree with the cops did with Rodney King, but I do agree with the verdict that they should, because we don't know what happened. Why would they go that far? It makes no sense for them to go that far and beat them, because they couldn't put in their mind that cops would just beat on a guy like that. And
that's Sheldon in a nutshell. Sheldon in this show messed up with that. I don't mean to cut you off, but you're alluding to it. Like, Sheldon is this guy. He's like a clean slate guy, perfect in every way. Like, he's not a bad guy in no way, shape, or form, which I don't know why they went the mental health route with him. But this is a guy who is literally like the ideal white man, like not racist, means well to do with everybody, but is green towards so much. Like, I don't know if you saw the one scene where he's doing a therapy session with one of his greatest villains. Like, that's straight out the comics.
Yes.
But that's just because Sheldon sees the best in everybody. And like, they even talk about that in I think it's volume 3 of Jupiter Circle. They even talk about that when his wife is still writing stuff for the newspaper or whatever like that. And like how Sheldon's like such a perfect person, and he means well. He does everything to try to make balance with everybody, including with her. And it's like, they just butchered all that. Like, they just did not they tried to capture Sheldon being perfect, but they had to do the mental health piece with him so bad.
Right. And there's a lot of subtle things, and the comics it's not long. It's not a long story for the first 4 volumes. I think the next set of volumes start sometime next month. But it's not all big, but there's certain things. Like, there's things where in the comics, Sheldon is too perfect for his girlfriend. Like, she's saying all these amazing things, but she's like, he's too perfect. And the loneliness some of them have, some of the characters who can't even date, because even if they disguise themselves, regular people are like, this doesn't feel right. Like,
yeah, it's too not real.
Right. And when you get to, hey, all laws aren't just portion of it, and when it goes to like black civil rights and things like that, there's other characters that just can't see it. And, building up to that with a generational approach, going a linear approach, would have meant more to the story, I believe, instead of me just fast forwarding because we can't wait to get to this guy that we also race swapped, who did a good job. I don't care. It actually, that character, the guy's son with the rod now, he actually makes more sense to be black, like, or be mixed now. Yeah, I don't mind that change.
You mean Hutch?
Yeah, Hutch.
Yeah. That change actually is a better change for me because
what's crazy, he actually looks like Hutch. Like, even though Hutch is white in the comics, he actually embodies what Hutch was like in the comic.
And it would make sense that the hero that sired him would have a mixed kid, so we're trying not to ruin stuff, and I know I'm already hinting around it. So if you get the clue,
I'm gonna read it, so I don't know how much you're ruining. But I'll ask this because I asked this earlier when we did the review. Does this show do any kind of service to the source material? Any kind, like good service? Does it do any? Okay,
It's a
okay,
good
so it
show.
does
Like,
that.
I don't
Okay,
hate the show.
hold on. So I'm on the side of, again, where I haven't read it, so I don't understand as deep as you guys are going, right? Or how deep cut or how like hurt you guys are by the fact that there are certain things that they didn't show or certain things that you didn't see. My next question is, do you think that the stylistic choices could work in the future moving forward, or do you think it's gonna come back to bite them in the butt?
Okay, so when I look at shows where I know the story, and then so like take Walking Dead. We just went through Walking Dead, right? There were things they changed in character paths that I was like, well, if you do this now, this other thing can't happen, and where are you gonna go? And when you do that in a show like this, like making the flare black, to me, I'm like, did you change it for a good story reason, or did you change it for fake ass representation? Like, did you change it for a bet? Because, like I said, Hutch being mixed, to me, that's better storytelling.
It
right?
makes sense.
Right. Brandon, the son in this version, has more pathos to me than he did in the comic. Right. I don't mind the more that we got to know him. If you wanted to do that switch, for how much personality he gets, there's a lot of things. I think Chloe is what I would imagine Chloe in live action.
Didn't I say that? Didn't I say that earlier?
Man, let Anthony talk.
Yeah. So I think there's great things, but I think when you rush the story, and I think the TV executives, the red tie people, don't get it. There's things that have to build up to get that impact. Don't call it Age of Ultron and the story takes place in a day. It's not an age. Don't, like, the reason why you can't get certain, like, you can't do the Dark Phoenix in one movie because the Dark Phoenix was like a couple of years in the comics. Like, it was building up to these different moments. And so when you jumped around, I don't, you've lessened some of the impact of the events
What you've read.
Yeah.
Not
now,
necessarily.
with great writing, can great writing fix this? Can great writing put it on a great path? Yes, I believe great writing can fix anything.
And that's the next question. Do you think the writing of the show is any good? Based on what you watched, and try to take out what you've read.
So that's not fair.
Because again, I feel like the show should also be able to stand on its own. For someone like me who's never read it, it stands on its own, right? And I can tell you why I feel like it stands on its own. Now, when I do, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt by reading the comics so we can have a better discussion later on.
Mm-hmm. What's the greatest hip hop album you've ever heard? Name one. What's the greatest hip hop album?
Life After Death.
Life After Death. So you've heard Life After Death, and let's say we fast forward 15 years and you hear a cover band do Life After Death, but Mo's only heard the cover band. How do you explain to him what's missing from, and then all the songs are out of order, some things are changed? How do you explain to Mo why this isn't good, or why this isn't what it could be? And that's how I feel about Jupiter's Legacy.
So you don't think the show's writing as is good?
I'm not calling it bad.
It's not.
It's watered down. It's
interesting.
It's if it, you know what it is? It's if you had good scotch, you know what good scotch is. If you haven't had good scotch,
right
now, if you haven't drank it, good scotch, I mean, this is great. It's some good stuff. I don't know.
No, you know what it is? When you have red Kool-Aid at home, right? And you just had red Kool-Aid, and then
you said red Kool-Aid,
and all of a sudden you go over to your mom's house, and your mom's house has this picture, and she said, "Oh yeah, I got this Kool-Aid for you right here. You about to eat crabs and everything," and you pour what you think is the red Kool-Aid, because mind you just tasted it at home, so you know what red Kool-Aid tastes like, right? And you drink it, you know, oh no, this is flavoring. That's what this show is.
Again, outright, this show is not good, or is not at the potential you think it could be, because they didn't follow source material.
Right. Now, is there
Okay.
potential? Is there potential in the show? I would say yes. I would say that season 2 could come out and it could restructure in a way that makes us shut up. Like, oh, okay, well, fuck.
Okay. So
You know?
I'm gonna read the comics and we're gonna have a different conversation another time. But I will say right now, we should wait. I would say we should wait. I usually I thought season 1 was good enough. Then the end kept me. I'm like, yo, I can't wait for because when it ended, I was like, yo, is this over? I needed more. I haven't had a feeling like that watching the show in a while, so I kind of felt I was kind of robbed, but I wanted it to keep going, so I liked it
Also
enough.
a weird place to end.
I thought it was perfection
and a waste of a couple of characters that shouldn't have been wasted at that point.
Thank you.
Oh
Thank
my
you.
God.
A certain person's daughter should not have been brought in this season or next season. That's
we
all
don't know if the story structure they have has use for her in the future. Also, they probably put her in for fan service.
Also, they dumbed down a lot of the powers. They dumbed down how the powers.
But I was cool with that though. I was cool with the dumbing down with powers.
But, okay, so let me ask you a question. We just came from an animated show, right? Does this show would this have worked better animated?
No.
I'm gonna say no, because for all my complaints, when we're in the 1920s, we're in a depression and the dirt lands and all that stuff, like the Grapes of Wrath type stuff. The production value. I mean, I've heard people say it's a little bit better than CW, but I felt the production value in this.
Oh, I felt it too.
The actors do a good. I've heard people complain about the actors, but the actors do a good job to me.
Thank you very much.
I feel that some of the things they added, like more things with Sheldon's dad, the interaction with the brothers, the interaction with the workers, like some of those things have been improvements to what was in the book that was kind of glossed over. There's a lot more mystery in the books. Like in the books, you don't really see what's on the island. You don't really see like these trials and all other stuff. And it's almost like you hint that it wasn't easy. You get hints that there were stuff that was going on there that was kind of, and even there's a random like gray alien encounter in the comics for at one point where two of the characters are flying and they see a whole town abducted, and then they go to investigate, and the aliens like just kind of wave them away, and everybody's back to where they were and stuff like that. So it there's a lot of things that are hinted
that could still be touched on.
But I think showing Sky Fox as just a villain at this point without showing how he got to that, and I know they can go back and show it, but you're missing
the fact.
Yeah,
but at this, they haven't said he's. I mean,
they did. They said on the show he's the first super villain.
They kept saying that, but then by the end, you get the idea that he may not. Is he by the end of the? To me, by the end of season 1, I feel like is he or is he not? Because there's the thing with Walter, and then you now start thinking about Walter and George's. Right, George is his name, right?
Mm-hmm.
How they have this kind of beef within themselves because of Sheldon, and how they both have they both want a relationship with Sheldon. They kind of hint at that in the show itself.
One of my cousins. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. So yeah, I'm not super sold on like this is like the worst thing ever. I also don't think he's the villain. And when I got to the end, I was like, you know what? He's not the villain.
To me, it seemed like they're about to make Sky Fox mustache twirly. Like, Sky Fox.
The first super villain.
Yeah,
I don't think he is.
And the reason why I feel that way is because of that the mind thing that they did, which was unnecessary.
I don't know. I thought it was fine. Anyways, we're going to the ugly.
But wait.
I'm sorry. You got one more thing? Go ahead.
I think you're gonna lose some impact in seeing this family grow, and even if you go back in flashbacks, it's not gonna have the same impact of the books. And it's not that I'm a book purist. You can have great adaptations and get the spirit of things, but when you do it in a less effective way, and I think they did it for Like they you ever have somebody that just has a favorite part of something, they just can't wait to get to that part. And I think that their favorite part was just showing showing the now, right? And the other stuff, the other decades. Oh, we'll just do flashbacks about that, right? We'll do a couple episodes a season to show how they got to this point, so we can tell this story now. And I think they missed out. I think that Netflix could have said, "All right, yeah, hey, we'll green light 3 seasons. If you can make the 3 seasons work, we'll finish out the last 2. You know what I mean? Like, there's ways you could have done it."
Yeah. So this show. I know we got to move on to the next segment. I'm just going to say, this being the first Millar Netflix show, I'm just hoping that they work out whatever kinks with this show before we get to Super Crooks and Starlight and Supreme, because you can't do that with the last 2, Starlight and Supreme. You can't. You could get away with literal murder with Super Crooks. But
speaking of kinks, bro left mid-stroke. He left mid-stroke, and that wasn't the first time. You saw the look on her face.
Yeah.
That wasn't the first time he did. She was
so unsatisfied.
She was climaxing too. So
she might as well reached over to the drawer to the nightstand to get the the tool.
Yeah. The power rod.
The power rod. And I like how, like, because it was like, oh, kids, I can't get you ice cream. Oh man, I feel bad for those kids, but they should understand. And then it got to that point, it was like, oh man, it's an asteroid. You got time.
You got time,
bro. You got time.
Yeah.
Shit, Sam Brandon. The fuck.
Yes. Hey, Brandon. I need.
Yeah, you gonna have to finish some shit for me, bro. Like,
yeah.
Moving on to the ugly part of the show. This is the part I feel like I'm going to rant forever, because this is the part that doesn't make sense to me. So a couple of days ago, Marvel dropped this, which I was like, wow, I am officially a Marvel Cinematic Universe fan. Like, it's official. They got me. I'm here for this.
Being with people, it's the most incredible thing in the world.
Like, they did this. You understand?
Yeah, they did that. They did that for us.
They did this shit. Like,
for us.
If you a Marvel Cinematic Universe fan, you are
We're all part of one big
climaxing super hard at this shit. You've speculated about Phase 4. You are. I mean, the whole internet went nuts when this trailer dropped. And then I think this is the funniest part of it, right? So Marvel drops that, right? And then Anthony put in one of our chats, DC salty DC fans, right? Mm-hmm. And how they're so salty that Marvel Cinematic fans get to celebrate their universe, gets to celebrate Phase 4 happening. You know, they get to celebrate like the goodness of just having cohesive a plan. You know, Phase 4 coming. You get what's it called? Black Widow in November, Eternals in February, Shang-Chi in May. Like, it's happening, right? Oh, this is the old Phase 4 dates, but technically it's happening, and it actually really is happening, because we got a trailer for Shang-Chi. Like, we got a little bit of an Eternals trailer inside of this whole pack. Like, it was amazing, and then we still have DC fans, right? Salty as fuck. But the worst part about being a DC fan is having to see this shit every fucking where. Like, seriously, it's not alone that we're here, right? Celebrating Phase 4 of Marvel, but you have to see this shit like in every comment section. And you know the worst part about seeing this shit in every comment section? So, first of all, the Snyder Cut was a fable. It was not supposed to happen. It was never here. It was never ready. Then it happens, right? Mm-hmm. Because COVID and HBO Max needs content. So I fully believe that the Snyder Cut would have happened somewhere in the future on HBO Max, because it would just be supplemental content. It would have come if it was going to happen. Maybe if 2020 didn't happen, I fully believe HBO Max would have gotten all they needed to get on their service, and the Snyder Cut would have probably happened like maybe 5-6 years from now, where it wouldn't really affect anything, because guess what? We don't get New Gods.
Yeah, you and I talked about this earlier.
We do not get New Gods, and I fully believe we don't get New Gods because we got to see a bitch ass fucking Darkseid who was pussy and got his ass beat and couldn't walk through a portal to go in and defeat Superman and the you didn't even have to walk through the portal. Just laser beam them.
He could have just laser beam. He could have laser beam bats. Like,
listen,
any of them.
Listen,
Darkseid, the character is like, man, look at that portal, man. Don't be having me get my ass beat in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Don't let me redeem myself, man. Don't make me the Hawk of this movie, man. Come on, man. Let me get my comeback. The portal right there, man. We can start part 2 off right now.
And the worst part of it, or the worst line, and mind you, that movie 4 hours is full of shitty lines. But the worst line in that movie is "Ready the ships. We'll do this the old way." Are you fucking kidding? And like people were creaming their pants off that line. It is the shittiest thing ever, because you literally 2 steps, and you could have said, okay, the portal doesn't work, but Steppenwolf's head went through the portal and he steps on it. 1 step, he was on Earth and fucking shit up. Are you telling me Darkseid needed the mother boxes to conquer Earth?
See, that's the problem with you don't make a universe that has rules and guidelines and things like that, because it's easy. It would have been easy to say, all right, instead of just saying we forgot what their planet was, right? Which is the dumbest fucking thing. we had the anti-life equation, but we forgot what planet it was on. My bad. You could have said something like, okay, we got defeated, and now the universe is protected by these sectors, and you could have brought the the Guardians of the Universe in there, the Green Lanterns in there, and maybe that's that's why they can't teleport, because this section is protected, or whatever. You know what I mean? There's ways you could have built your universe in multi-layer ways to make things make sense.
Look at this shit on your left. Look at a fucking moment, and again, I'm sorry, DC fans don't have shit like this to look forward to.
No,
it sucks. It sucks. Like, we have to still be asking for a Snyderverse instead of, you know what? Let's get the future. Let's move on. Let's see what you could do. But look at this fucking moment, a fucking splash page on screen, bro.
Maybe we can put the. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, Steppenwolf literally gave the Justice League, quote unquote, trouble. Yeah. And you mean to tell me you, Darkseid, can't just step to the.
He gave them hands.
Like literally, Steppenwolf gave them so many hands that Martian was like,
Martian was like, I don't want no parts of this.
I don't want no part of this. I got you next time, dog. I got you next time.
Tell me, this is the second time he sat one out. Because remember, we just had a whole situation with Doomsday.
The third time. What are you talking about? He was there when the Kryptonians came. He was there with Darkseid. I'm sorry, he was there with Doomsday and now Steppenwolf. They've made a bitch ass Martian Manhunter.
They've made a
bitch ass Darkseid. So what if you're a studio executive, right? And you're a comic book executive, and you're saying to the studio execs like, "Yo, we can't do New Gods right now," and they're like, "Why?" Man, this nigga right here, he just ruined one of the greatest characters in our universe. Like, we can't really put this out. How confident are you to put New Gods out?
But look, you know what has saved it? We see how cocky the Superman in this universe is, right? What if the portal opened?
It just sucks.
What if the portal opened? Darkseid was there and is like, that's Lord Darkness. Superman's like, you know what? I'm gonna take care of this right now. And he goes to go through the portal, and Darkseid either like chokes him out real quick. It's like, I will see you soon, Kryptonian. It throws him back, or like, zaps him with his and you'd have been like, did Superman just get owned?
Because
I would have been happy with that.
He did crush Steppenwolf though. He crushed him.
But think about what I'm saying. Like, that would have been a better. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it would have been
I know what you're trying to say.
But Zack Snyder lacks vision. Like, he just lacks vision at all.
So my thing is, right, with the whole with this shit right here, we need to stop it. Restore nothing. We need to cancel that. DC executives already said they don't want this anymore, and I love it. You know, the fact that the reason I put this on here, and I said I'm not going to discuss the Snyder Cut ever again since I saw the movie. I don't want to discuss it on here on the channel. It was, to me, it was horrible, and I will be here on the channel. I will be here on the podcast, and I would say, the Joss Whedon cut was better. I will forever say that, and I will say that because it was more fun. In my opinion, it was more cohesive as a movie. You know, this just felt like the movie that it was supposed to be, but that movie felt more cohesive and got straight to the point. That movie didn't bitch out Darkseid, and that movie didn't make Wonder Woman a psychotic killer. It did not.
Me and my daughter are watching, right? And she was like,
your daughter.
Yeah, it was 4 hours, right? So while we're sitting here doing work in school, the thing is just on because I treated it like a TV show.
Yeah.
So she was watching it, and she was, and she's into Wonder Woman, and she was like, "Did Wonder Woman just save the building from getting blown up, then blow up the building?" And I was like, I'm kind of proud of you right now. Like, come here, go ahead. You eat ice cream for breakfast. Go ahead.
Again, that is a stylistic, a directional decision that didn't make any sense. Just to blow shit up, bro. And that happened in the first 45 minutes of the movie.
You saw she's faster than bullets. So by the time he reloaded, she could have stopped him. There was no reason to incinerate him or blow up the building, but they missed the point of characters. And
right.
I'll say this: there were two things. I felt bad for that. The clip I saw of the sent with the girl, the DC fan, saying, "Look, Marvel gets this shit like with the Endgame and everything, and we're just hoping for a coherent story plot in a movie." and she said, "We got like 2 coherent stories in all these movies. And she had in the background and her thing. In all these movies, we got like 2 coherent story plots."
I should find that video. You should
link it to the thing. It's in the chat. But and I felt bad for her, right? Like I felt bad because there's no reason why you couldn't have a rival to Marvel in what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, these aren't terrible characters. These aren't characters that can't work.
They own their source material. Like it's not like Marvel where Spider-Man's over at Sony, Hulk's technically over at Universal. It's not like that. You know what I mean? Like, they have all their characters.
But you know the difference is Marvel was allowing Captain America to be Captain America. They didn't go, "Oh, he's too corny for the 2000s." DC did not trust Superman to be Superman. They didn't trust.
Why do we keep saying DC? Because it's not DC's fault.
Whatever the studio.
Listen.
The guy in the red tie.
I'll tell you. Okay, let me tell you the reason why I brought this topic up today. There's an article, I think IGN or CBR, one of those carriers, right? Mm-hmm. Zack Snyder's doing press for Army of the Dead. And he got on there and said they never, Warner Brothers is anti-Snyder. They don't believe in my vision. They never wanted my movies.
They should.
I think it's also public knowledge that one of the executives, I think, that got fired, never liked his Superman.
You don't
it's
either.
also
it's terrible.
It's also
he's
public
not
knowledge.
Superman. He has Superman powers. He has Superman costume.
It's also
there's no joy in that man.
No. The key they miss is Superman is supposed to be inspirational.
Right.
Superman is the person that you should want to strive to be, and not because of his powers.
No,
because fire is in you.
Right.
And the fact that he doesn't go out of his way he goes out of his way not to kill with godlike powers means something. And
he's happy.
You see the Super Friends
and he's
fight?
Funny.
So in Josh's Super Friends fight, he's not. Well, he's still fighting the Super Friends, right? That shit still happens.
Mm-hmm.
In Zack Snyder's he wants to kill them, literally.
Well, I mean, honestly, Josh's
he fires. He lasers the Flash, almost lasers the Flash. For some reason, the army's out there, and there's no sense. The army's out there, and they shoot at his head. And he turns around and he lasers the fucking Humvee. Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Also, don't forget, Juice was going to kill bats in Josh's cut.
No,
So,
I love that better. The way they did that better.
If I give you 2-hour movie, if I give you a 2-hour time window to film a movie, and you give me a 6 or 4-hour timetable to do a movie,
I'm not putting that movie out.
Zack Snyder didn't make a movie; he made a miniseries. It's really different things.
That sucks.
You also have somebody come in to fix a script and do reshoots after. It was like, I don't know.
It was gonna be Frankenstein. Josh Whedon, I believe, for the shit that he gets for that movie, it was 100% gonna be the Frankenstein. It was gonna be Frankenstein's monster. It was never gonna be good. It was gonna be, and I think so now I think the reason why people are saying restore the Snyderverse, or why restore the Snyderverse seems like it's a thing and it should be a thing, is because this movie got favorable reviews. Now, if the bar's on the floor, okay. Excuse me. If the bar's in hell, and you raise the bar this much, of course you're gonna get favorable reviews. Of course, people are gonna think your movie's better. Your movie wasn't that much better because it was the exact same movie. You stretched it out.
It was 3 mini movies in another movie, and then going forward. That's what it was. And you made Marsha. You ever get into a fight as when you're a kid? You ever get into a fight with another group, or even older? You get into a fight with another group, but you got one friend that's kind of bitch made, and they kind of like, I tried to help you out, man, but it was this. And you look at that's Martian Manhunter.
Because you're gonna, oh man, all right, whatever, you tried.
Yeah, that's exactly. You know what? And then you get skinny Ben Affleck, because that was a reshot scene, and he comes out looking tired, and he looks in like, man, if you don't get out of my house, like, why you?
But you're not gonna get rid of Gal Gadot because she's profitable as Wonder Woman.
Oh, right. That's your cash cow right now. I mean, Jason Momoa made you $1 billion off Aquaman, so
I mean, he had to take the shirt off to get in the water.
Look. Most of my coworkers are women. Don't watch comic book movies. Don't care about superheroes. They saw the commercial. We were in a meeting, and the TV was on for something, and the thing came up for Aquaman with Jason Momoa, and they always like, I heard the panties drop. Like, we going, I'm going to see that.
They're not. I mean, why do you think that scene, Permission to Come Aboard, was on every trailer for that movie?
There are like 5 great moments that are for women in minor superhero movies. All of Jason Momoa, Cat with the shirt off, Cat with the helicopter. I don't know the other 2 because I'm not going into it, but those ones make the cut. Because if you were in the theater, when Cap curled that helicopter, you heard some sighs.
Yeah, you heard something.
I'll tell you something. I'm not a woman, but
that theater.
It did something for me, because I'm like, yo, I wanted to go in the gym and curl a fucking helicopter after that scene. Like, seriously. And I think maybe we could add 300 into that. If you want, you can throw 300 in there, because it's a bunch of shirtless men walking around the entire movie. But no, seriously, it makes no sense. And I think the biggest argument for DC characters, or DC, is they have the better characters. Mm-hmm. There's no way B-listers and C-listers right now should be more profitable than Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. The biggest mistake Warner Brothers made was after Man of Steel, and saying, hey, nobody likes your Superman, nobody likes your style, sit this one out, or maybe do a Batman movie, or maybe do a Lobo movie, or do another DC character movie. Don't do Superman again.
No, they should have did Superman again. Just kind of
no. I'm saying take him off the board. Take Zack Snyder off the characters.
Oh, yeah.
They should have just dropped them then and there. And then, okay, fine, you didn't drop them. You're going to BVS.
Which is a huge mistake.
The biggest mistake after BVS was letting him start to film Justice League after filming BVS. That was your biggest mistake, because you should have at least let him wait to see what would have happened with BVS. And then
BVS should have never happened, because they did the Death of Superman story. Why, as a viewer, did I feel connected to Superman after Man of Steel? Why?
What the fuck do I care if he gets killed? You know what I mean? But and the thing is,
you had movies
that year, Captain America Civil War came out that same year, if I'm right.
Yeah, I think
they were supposed to release on the same date, but DC moved the date.
They should have.
Yeah.
and I think the Fast and the Furious, where
I
Toretto
watched that.
Listen to me, betrayed the team, was also that year.
mhm.
And that was and those movies are
$1 billion.
terrible. It was better than that.
I've only seen 3 Fast and Furious movies.
Hopefully, it was the first 3.
I enjoyed it.
It was the first 3 actually.
Man, Tokyo Drift wasn't great. That Fast and the Furious
I didn't
universe
like
right
it. That's
now
when
is
I
better
stopped.
than the DC universe.
You said what?
Fast and the Furious universe is better than the DC universe.
Yeah.
It's changed my mind.
Yeah. No,
I've only
that's
seen
what I'm
3
saying.
movies, and I agree with you.
Yeah, that's what it is. But you know what the difference is that in Civil War, that conflict between Tony and Steve was earned.
Yeah,
It was earned.
dude. It was heartbreaking. That final scene when he was like, "Did you know? No, don't lie to me." Yes, that's
We all
heartbreaking.
saw it coming, and Zemo won. Like the bad guy won in the movie. Zemo won. Like
Zemo been winning.
Yeah,
since
Zemo's like
Zemo
the
has been
breakout
winning.
like he stole every scene he was in the
Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yes.
But look, real talk.
I wanted Zemo to escape. To be honest, I was really cheering for Zemo.
Yeah, I would watch a Thunderbolt show now. Like that's where they took villains and made their own superhero team and whatnot. Zemo, I mean, it made no sense why Wakanda didn't kill him or take him back to Wakanda. But yeah, but I'm gonna get at a pass. If Bucky can get invited to the barbecue, Zemo can live.
Didn't you bring pre-made food? Like, no, don't bring. Go to the store and buy food, bro. Don't make your shit.
Potato salad. Nobody ate his potato salad.
No, I hope not. I hope not.
No. But he wasn't coming to eat. He was coming to eat.
Okay.
He was clapping cheeks.
Bucky going to be in that baby boy scene cooking breakfast. He gonna be like, like
Captain America's gonna come in.
Your pants, man. What you do? You want some eggs? You want some eggs?
Gonna choke the shit out of him, bro. It's gonna be so amazing.
Should have took that serum, boy. Yeah, call for Steve.
Right. Look, it's so amazing. Marvel has they finally gave you Endgame. Their big bad felt earned. Darkseid didn't.
Nothing.
Nothing.
And they gave us possible futures where like Darkseid killed the Atlanteans with his Omega effect, and I was like, that's the movie I want to see. I want to see that movie.
I forgot about that.
How can DC animated get stuff right? And you guys got all the source material. You have y'all fucked up worse than Star Wars. And I'm saying this. Y'all fucked up worse than Star Wars. I'd rather watch me some Ray.
It's so painful to be a DC fan, a Superman fan, a Batman fan, and to watch Captain America replace Superman, and then the argument is Tony Stark better than Batman is a thing now. Like, in what universe in the 90s was anyone saying is Tony Stark better than Batman? In what universe in the 90s? It's funny, right? We were having an argument in the chat, and then Patrick posted like the 80s or the 70s version of Captain America, and I'm like, because if you compare both versions, that Captain America to the Superman that came out relatively around the same time, listen, DC, nobody was seeing anybody. Mind you, there's an old Doctor Strange movie that nobody talks about.
You had that Sci-Fi Channel back in the day because it was.
I had it on VHS.
Right.
I had it on VHS.
And it's like DC. It's like Marvel went back in the past, right? Or Marvel went back in the past or did a Flashpoint where that doesn't matter and everything has been rebooted into now. Like this is all that matters. Like, come on.
Well, Snyder wanted Batman to impregnate Bruce Wayne to impregnate Lois Lane,
right?
Where it came back. You fucking idiots. Like, you know what the best version of this was? Remember the 90s cartoon crossover with Batman Superman where Superman peeks through Batman's like Bruce Wayne, and then the next day Bruce had planted a
he saw him in a hotel room or whatever.
So and he leaves. Then he buys the Daily Planet. Then he takes Lois Lane out in the day. Like,
Yo, now that was some fucking shit. But
that was petty. That was some
you
petty
know,
stuff. But it was
Snyder
brilliant.
should have did that.
speaking of DC animated
Batman
universe,
versus Superman.
speaking of DC animated universe, when Batman v Superman was coming out, what I thought in my mind we were getting was Public Enemies.
I would have liked that.
I didn't think that, but that would have been better than this.
I thought in my mind, because again, I went back and rewatched Public Enemies right before I saw Batman v Superman, but then I think the announcement that happened for Batman v Superman was the guy who played General Swanwick. He went and he read that excerpt of Dark Knight, The Dark Knight Returns. And he's like, I want you to remember the face or look at the face of, and you know, that again, watching that animated movie was better than actually the source material. It's crazy.
If all you know about a character is the graphic novels or the one shots or the alternative versions,
right?
You don't understand the character, and you don't understand. And what movies never really get right is Batman's genius, and that's why he can stand with God.
This fucking shit,
and you can be that. And so, like, and that's one of the things that pisses me off about
let's cleanse the palate
and things. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Marvel Phase 4 got me worried. I'm
not.
So
and
all right.
I will say that right now, I am not.
I'm with the Ann on this one big time because Eternals, I don't have a lot of faith in. It's the reason why we're just now seeing any kind of clip of Eternals on this. I never was a big Shang-Chi fan ever in my life. So I think the only time I actually paid attention to Shang-Chi as a character was during the inclusion events in the comics, and that was it. But
I'm not.
But
and the reason I can say I'm not is because, man, they have not missed, bro. Like, Marvel missed twice in Phase 1. Okay, and
Thor?
you're raising your eyebrow because I know what you're gonna say.
Thor and Iron Man 2?
Yeah.
Oh, Iron Man 2 too. Look, Iron Man had Iron Man. That was the best Iron Man movie.
And those are questionable.
Iron Man's story's been better in other characters' movies.
Right.
But being honest, Iron Man only had one good comic book run. 2. He had Demon in a Bottle, and he had Superior Iron Man. Name what other Iron Man stories can you name that were good?
Most are forgettable. I mean, you can put the Iron Man Wars or whatever. The
Armor Wars.
Yeah, those that wasn't.
But
that was good.
It wasn't It was entertaining,
horrible.
but it wasn't good.
It wasn't horrible.
Yeah, it
was the best thing ever.
Because they did weird things with them. Like remember he got turned into a kid for a while.
Yeah,
and then
he found out that his father wasn't really his father. He was adopted. Then he became Agent Iron Man and stuff like that, like a 007 type thing.
The most interesting Iron Man got in years was when they first did Ultimates. The first 2 volumes of Ultimates. Mm-hmm. He was a very compelling character. He was a very flawed character. And the suit was still being refined as more like a mech almost, and you know, and that was they should have took more inspiration from that. And then
I do like his him with what's his name, Ultimate Spider-Man. That relationship.
Yeah. So and I like the Tony Spider-Man dynamic for the most part. I think they overplayed it some, but that first like Civil War, I thought that was a great way to bring Spider-Man in.
But they had to humanize Tony. Like, to a large degree, Tony was completely off the rocker. Like, I'm talking about now in the movies.
I mean, and because they never went alcoholic Tony with him. So they needed.
Yeah. And
I mean, I understand why they didn't do that. We understand why they didn't do that.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. But I thought
abuse.
they got Robert Downey Jr. because he understood that side of things. And I thought that's what I was getting.
They would play that.
Also, they just started, and then as soon as Iron Man got really worldwide popular, his tech in the comics and his tech in the movies became magic. Really.
Yeah.
But again, so to answer your question about you feeling not great, Marvel has missed. So it's 10 years or over 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm. It's like 12 now.
Yeah. How many movies? Over 20 movies?
What are the weaker movies? You got Thor 2 was just terrible.
Right.
Iron Man 2 and 3 are bad movies.
So that's 3.
That's 3.
And
I like the Incredible Hulk. So
I do too.
I do too. Maybe the first
liked
Avenger.
Guardians 2, though a lot of people didn't.
Which one?
Maybe the first Avenger.
See, I like Guardians
No,
2 because I like
so-
the sister dynamic. I like
So-
I'm
Guardians
saying
2 a lot.
maybe. I'm not saying for me. I'm saying maybe.
So the first Avenger isn't a great movie, but if you put it with the trilogy of movies,
it works. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
Yes.
if you watch them all back to back and the setup for the first one, and I like the first Avenger. It's okay. It's an okay movie, but when you put it with the rest of the trilogy,
Because
it's fantastic.
that is the one trilogy that actually really feels linear to the character.
Who would have thought Captain America was going to have the best
Trilogy.
of
Right.
Nobody.
No,
Dude,
So
that second movie made
would you
him.
say Doctor
it's
Strange?
the best one to me. It's the best. Is that Winter Soldier?
Yes.
Winter Soldier is probably
It's the strongest Marvel movie.
strongest Marvel movie. The
That
best
is not an Avengers movie.
technical movie. It's the best technical movie.
Right.
Because-
the only thing that's up there with me is probably Infinity War, but
I agree.
Winter Soldier's
No. I would say Winter Soldier is the best Marvel movie that is not an Avengers movie. Because I think Infinity War is
It's
the
the
most
best Marvel
superior.
movie.
I think Infinity War is the most superior Marvel movie.
You would forget that Winter Soldier is a comic book movie,
Yeah.
It is a comic book movie though.
but you could easily forget it. Like watching a movie,
But
could easily-
you do have the comic elements in there that make it a comic book movie.
That's
They
the only
do
thing that
come in.
reminds you.
And Avenger movies are events for the most part. They're events and they build on everything that was built before. Like they take on what everything was built before it. Infinity War is a great movie. Don't get me wrong. Like
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Amazing.
It's
Yeah.
number 2.
But
It's
yeah,
number
but
one for me.
technically, just from a technical standpoint, and what they did with the characters, the fight choreography, it wasn't really high. I mean, it's a big budget movie, but it's not like a Avengers budget movie,
It's not it wasn't Civil War budget.
right? And
Dude,
I like
I'm
Civil
with you
War.
to the end of the line.
Civil War is more like Infinity War. Like they're hey, I'm glad I got to see this. I'm glad I got to live long enough to see these comic book pages put on.
Yeah, when you see them running towards each other in Civil War. So
But if you hate-
all
if
of
you
this
hate
to say
comic
that
movies,
Marvel.
Y'all, you probably love Winter Soldier. That's all.
So Marvel has missed. We've counted right now 3 really bad Marvel movies.
And it's a
bunch
bunch of
Yeah, and so if we're looking at that, I don't think Marvel has missed that much. So
no.
I don't. I have faith moving forward. I think they've learned from their mistakes. Yeah, I do actually, and I am not the biggest Marvel Cinematic Universe fan you can find, but I have faith in what they've done and their product.
They've
I
earned
do.
a lot of social capital.
So much, and so much from me, who was a big detractor at one point, but they just keep surprising me. It's like, oh, this doesn't look like it's gonna be good. Boom, it's fun. I didn't think Ant-Man was gonna be good. Boom, it was fun. Guardians of the Galaxy, boom, it was fun. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and because they doubled down so much on what made
like 1.
Exactly.
I think 1 is the better movie, but 2 is not a bad movie.
Dude got very creative with the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like
2 is not a bad movie. And then and I'm like, there's no way, first of all, they do Thor Ragnarok, and it's like, oh, this is gonna be like, it's supposed to be this dark.
So I have.
Hold on. Go ahead.
Okay. I have issues
thought-
with Ragnarok.
I thought it was a fine movie because it's
Whoa.
in line with. So now, so the thing is, if they make, what is it, Love and Thunder, right? That's the next Thor movie. If
That's
Love
what I'm
and
not excited
Thunder,
about.
and hold on, if Love and Thunder is good, it makes Thor. It gives Thor the best series of movies out there.
What?
Yes.
Thor, no,
Nah.
I would say
does.
Thor had the
It
best
does.
comeback.
Because
of the
I also
movies.
think Loki is going to be inside of that Thor cinematic universe.
I hope not.
So
I'm tired of Loki, to be honest with you.
Let's give a A B C D E F type of thing, right? Or
Mhm.
yeah. What would you grade first Thor?
I'm one of the people that think Thor 1 is
Just
amazing.
give me a grade. Just give me a grade.
I think it's an A+ movie.
You think Thor is an A? Okay.
I thought Thor
Okay.
1 was
All right.
fantastic.
All right.
I've said I'm one of the
Yo,
people
who man
who-
is this?
We're not gonna argue. I'm not gonna argue rating.
Okay,
You
okay,
think
A.
I
Not
think
an
it's
A+, but an A.
I think it's a C. We got 2 C's and an A. What would you rate Thor 2? the Dark World.
Yeah,
Whatever.
we can give that a E.
F.
One
E,
F. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. All right. So now we get to Ragnarok.
The biggest turn for the character ever. I think that was a B plus.
B plus. Okay.
So as a person that loves comics, I'm going to give it an A. The reason why, it looked like what's my not Starling? What's my guy name? That they used to draw a lot of Thor comics in the 80s, 70s, and 80s.
Oh fuck.
I can't think of his name, but it looked like he just threw up on the screen. It just was like, yo,
Kirby.
Yeah, Jack Kirby, dude. When I say Thor, the Ragnarok,
we should all burn a little bit for that one. That we should never forget that name.
Yeah,
we really should never forget Jack
Kirby. Wow. Like, yo,
we're not gonna get fucking new gods because of this fucking shit.
Pause. Let's get back to Thor 3. I appreciated Thor 3 so much because of it looked just like Jack Kirby. It was like, you know what? This is it.
It did.
So I'm sorry, Thor 3 holds a very special place in my heart because it looked like Jack Kirby.
I think a lot of people don't like it because they did Planet Hulk inside of it, and I think Anthony's gripes. Yeah,
that's fine.
They took one of the best Hulk stories from the last 20 years and gave it to Thor.
But legally, they couldn't do anything with Hulk. Like you cannot make a Hulk.
They couldn't make a Planet Hulk movie. So
guess what? They could have gave Hulk the story inside of Thor. We could have worked it. We had Iron Man movies within other movies since his trilogy.
You had like 6 months before Infinity War. You couldn't have made it work.
I don't think you could have done that.
Whatever, that's the detractors. Also,
and I also think that for you to do Planet Hulk, you got to do he has to be sent.
The Green Star.
Yeah, and then you had to pay.
It's a waste of a story. Can we agree? Even if they couldn't legally do it, whatever the thing is, it's a waste of a story. Right?
I got you. Like I'm not gonna disagree with you on that at all.
So
it's a great movie.
Right. So I laughed the first time through it, but then going back through it, it was like it made everything just like a comical joke. Like your world got destroyed as a joke. Your friends got killed. It was a joke. There was no gravity to it. And then you get to Infinity War where they actually give him the gravity of I've lost my friends, my world, my parents, things like that. That scene with him and Rocket in the back of the ship. We should have got some of that in the comedy of Thor. So I'm gonna give it a B. But you still have a 0, right? And we know zeros bring down your grade, right? Now, if you're going to rate the first Captain America movie, what would you give it?
A C.
Minus. No.
It's not great. Stop it. It's a C minus. It's
Doc,
not.
I saw it on opening night. So
it's kind of meh.
Doc, what you give it?
I give it an A. Sorry, I saw it on opening night. It holds a very high place in my heart.
You give it an A as well, Anthony?
If I was to give it the rating I saw it the first time, I would have given it.
No. You revisited it. Okay.
If I was to give it a grade that first night, I'd give it a B. And the reason why I would give it a B is because before he got the serum was like one of the most perfect origin stories I'd seen on film.
Mm-hmm.
Fine.
And he inspired me, something that Superman should have done that they didn't. This cap inspired me. The ending was kind of generic, and I always take off for when the character fights another evil version of themselves. I'm tired of that storyline. Stop it.
But it's Red Skull. It's Red Skull though.
I know
that is an evil version of himself.
I don't need to see the hero fight an evil version of themselves anymore. I don't need to see it for an origin movie. I don't need to see it. It happens all the time. I don't need to see it.
But this is like 2009, 2010. So
still, stop trying to give an excuse. Still,
so now what do we give?
What's your grade? So your grade is still B with the ending?
Because the first part is like.
So you're grading it in a curve.
No, so what I'm saying is the first part of the movie was excellent. Like,
so this movie would have been an A if the end wasn't generic, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it was a little generic for me, but
all right, Civil War.
But it's still a good movie.
I'm sorry,
Winter Soldier.
That's an
A. A plus.
Winter Soldier's A plus. It's the best movie in the MCU.
Now Civil War.
Second. I see. I call Civil War Avengers 2.5.
That's fine.
You cannot tell me anything other than that. The only reason it's a Cap movie is it says Captain America: Civil War.
He's the point of view. He's the point of view.
It is an Avengers movie through and through, and I give that movie a B minus.
A B minus.
Yes, because it's not a Cap movie.
Wait, mofo, you give Thor.
It's not a Cap movie.
You give Thor.
It's not a Cap. It's not a Cap movie. It is not a Cap movie.
All right, take that it's not a Cap movie. Just judge the movie, please.
But that's how I'm judging it. I'm giving it a B minus because it's not a Cap movie.
You petty. Did they make that on that movie or something? Boo, boo, boo.
But it's not a Captain America movie. It's like saying
oh man, you petty.
No. But would you say Homecoming? No, not Homecoming. Because Homecoming is a Spider-Man movie. Because after like the first couple appearances of Iron Man, it really transforms into a Spider-Man movie.
All right. My point is, I'm giving it an A. Is it as good as Winter Soldier? No, I'm giving it an A. Civil War gave me something I never thought I'd see. So, and it had a good story. It had a solid story. It made sense.
Also.
Well, hero versus hero.
Mashed a bunch of characters for the first time. It was like kind of a little experiment.
So, an Avengers movie then? Avengers did it already.
All right, man. So,
if Thor and Hulk were in that movie, it's an Avengers movie.
That's a better movie. So even if Love, what is it?
Love and
Thunder.
Love and Thunder.
And the thing is, I actually like Jane Foster Thor, so I think they have a very good movie loading up.
You got a little simp in you, don't you? You got a little
Jane Foster Thor. She can hold the hammer with it. You know?
But yeah,
Sorry, Anakin.
I think that the average.
But we are also getting the Captain America 4 though.
Oh, yeah, we are
Black America. Yeah,
but I don't think we're gonna get that to like Phase 5. Or that's it's not even in development yet.
But that didn't work in the comics, right? Like he eventually those sales tanked. So what do y'all think about that?
Secret Empire is on the way. Then
let me tell you what I feel about the sales tanking about Black in America. I feel there's a little bit of
racism.
Yes, I feel some people didn't like it because those stories were good. You can't say the stories weren't good.
I actually didn't read those stories. So
no, that was good. Captain America in a Mighty Avengers, I think it was.
Yeah,
so
that was good.
I had a bias against.
Did you do Secret Empire though?
Hold on. I had a bias against Falcon because when I was growing up, I hated how they treated Black characters, and I almost seemed like remember Black Lightning and the Super Friends. Like I think that traumatized me, and until I saw there was a Wizard issue that showed all the times T'Challa had punked Tony Stark, and I was like, oh man, maybe Black Panther's a cool character, and I got into Black Panther, and then I could never quite. And I did not got into Luke Cage, and I could never transition to Falcon. I didn't like Falcon until Anthony Mackie's won me over. And then that's my bias, so I can't, I can't.
That's fair.
So
a lot of people didn't like Captain America or Sam Wilson Captain America because, like, it's funny. I was scared about the reception the TV show was gonna get.
Hold on, shout out to Wizard. Did y'all ever read Wizard?
No.
No, remember the comic book magazine that came out and have like things like that? Oh man, shout out to Wizard. I think I had to pick the comics I got, and Wizard would help me do that. So
no, I was actually really scared about the reception of that Anthony Mackie would get when we got to episode 6 of Falcon Winter Soldier because I'm still scared because they've announced the movie, and I'm still very scared because I don't know how like certain groups would take it.
Right.
And now, if they do it well, it will work just like how it worked in the comics. Like it's still very shaky, but
if they ever brought Chris Evans back, would it feel like a betrayal if he picked up the shield, even if it was just one movie?
No, because I think that's going to be the direct. No, here's the thing.
Yes.
So would mainstream think it's
it's not about the comics. At this point, I think I made the statement in the group chat. At this point, it's fuck the comics, and I don't mean it as an insult. Mainstream does not care about your comic books.
Right.
They care about what they see on the screen.
That's true.
So if you give Steve Rogers back the shield, even for a second, even if it's to mirror what we saw in the comics, they will feel Yo, you would get a lot of woke, angry people.
Because look, the show already set up this part from the comics, right?
Hmm? Me?
So no. So hear me out.
No, I thought Anthony said something.
No, I was saying we would get a lot of angry woke comics.
Yeah.
You remember when they showed Spider-Woman crawling down the building, and all who never wrote a comic book before was like, oh my god, comics are sexist, but they didn't look at the same poses Spider-Man would be in. That was kind of awkward. That's what we did.
But see, here's the thing: they're setting up the Secret Empire thing. So if you watch the end of Captain America, and the Falcon, Falcon and Winter Soldier,
Captain America and the Winter Soldier,
right? So you know the speech that he was doing, talking to the senators and challenging the senators and saying you need to do better, blah blah. So in the comics, there's a right before we get the Secret Empire, right when we're introduced to Cube and all that kind of stuff.
the
Pleasant Hills or something like that.
Pleasant Hill, yeah.
So there's the part where they talk about why Steve is not vibing with Falcon like that. Who's now
old man Steve was kind of mad, and
because of how
I don't want to see that.
Right, because Falcon had took a stance about a racist issue.
I don't want to see that because
but they're already seeding it.
No, but I want to believe that this Captain America is not.
They're not going to do
mad.
it. They're going to go that direction.
I don't want to see it because there's a lot of people who don't want Chris Evans to do that.
You know, straight up, I used to be pissed at Captain America when I was a kid because I was a big X-Men person, right?
Yeah, he never stood up for them.
No, he would read these things in like Genosha and everything like that, and there was mutants on the Avenger team, and Cap would never say shit.
But dude, Tony's the reason why you had the twins on the Avengers to begin with in the comics. Like Cap was like completely. He was like, yeah, I accept you, but I don't want you on the team.
And then
even when Rogue was on the team, that wasn't Captain's call, that was Havoc's call.
And that's why one of the best moments was when they were having Civil War, and I think Tony went to Cyclops, and Cyclops was like, "Motherfucker, y'all ain't help us once." No, maybe it was
right. Yes,
he said, "Yeah, you want us to help y'all register people? Y'all haven't helped us. They've been trying to register all these years. Y'all ain't come to. Y'all ain't killed out one sentinel. Fuck yeah!
Fuck your war.
I was like, war.
Yes. And so I don't want to see. I'm sorry. I've read the comics. I don't want to see this Steve Rogers do that. I'm sorry. I can't. It will feel very cheap to me. Even though Chris
Evans back in the suit, so I don't know.
I don't. I think we've moved on from that because we've given it. I think with Anthony Mackie being definitively Captain America in the series, I think we've moved past that. Could Chris Evans come back as Old Man Cap? Maybe, but I don't.
Well, what if we get the other Cap? Like, remember, there's a Cap,
Secret Empire Cap.
Yeah, because remember, there's a part where Chris Evans uses Loki's staff and goes,
"This is America's ass."
Yeah,
where he falls himself.
That whole part, right? So remember on the elevator scene, right before then, they did the whole Hell Hydra. So. Who's to say that at that point in time, Hydra doesn't take him?
I don't think that was Secret Empire. I think that was just for that movie, and I hope that was just for that movie. But no, all in all,
I don't know. Branch reality
sucks. Marvel's better.
But I could take a Chris Evans hit a shield, or the new shield. I could say a Chris Evans the new hit his sword or something like that. I think it'd just be cool. I think that's money in the bank to bring Steve and Tony back at some point. And if these movies.
I don't know if Disney wants to spend that money
well because Shang-Chi has never worked. He can work now. I'm not saying great writing can fix anything.
He's gonna work now. I think the reason Shang-Chi is gonna work right now is because a lot of people are more excited. A lot of people that asked for Iron Fist to look like this are gonna watch this one.
A lot of people weren't asking. Nobody knew who Iron Fist was.
You don't remember the whole thing about Iron Fist? People were saying they wanted Iron Fist to be Asian American because
they had no idea who Iron Fist was.
And I think a lot of people that asked for that are going to watch this movie.
Iron Fist was.
Yeah, of course we did. I'm just saying those people are going to watch this movie. I think, and of course, I feel like
they're going to complain about something else.
I feel like they picked a really likable Asian American or Asian Canadian for this. The guy from Lee's Convenience.
Nothing from Eternals that seemed interesting to me.
I mean, it was a 30-second.
Did you ever like the comics? Did you ever like the Eternals? Exactly.
No, I've never seen an interesting story from it, so
we don't know. I just think
Black Widow should have been in the slot that Captain Marvel was in. That movie should have taken place there. And I think it's just to set up the new blonde hair girl as Black Widow.
Well, we'll see. One, we'll see. I have faith in Marvel. 2, DC sucks. Marvel rules. 3, thank you guys for coming to do this with me. I really appreciate this podcast. And
hate. I hope all the worst things in the world happen to you and only you.
We will catch you for episode 2 of 3 Dudes Rant sometime in the future. We're gonna figure out other things to talk about. But thank you. I really do appreciate you guys doing this with me.
I hope that you find out your sister is your mom after an hour after she gets stuck in the laundry machine. Go ahead.
On that note, we are out.